Hello, everybody. This is darkdracha here. I'm here again with another one of these opinion pieces, I guess. I don't know. Anyway, um, so a friend of mine asked me to do uh, one of these on my political affiliation and how I feel about the different parties and the choices we have. Yes, I know I just did air quotes. Shut up. Leave me alone. um, I was a bit hesitant to do this video, mostly because of the highly polarized political atmosphere, especially today. Um, but then, from the first one of these I did, uh, that really shouldn't matter. So here I am. So the actual question was, which party do I prefer? Or do I side with, or whatever? Is it the Democratic Party or is it the Republican Party? And to be perfectly honest, I have to say neither. Now, you may be wondering why I say this, and it's because both parties no longer represent the ideals of the people. I know. In the past, there were great people that were Republicans that stood for wonderful messages. And the problem is in today's Republican Party, those people would not fit because they had ideas that would be considered too liberal, which is one thing that you always hear the Republican Party complaining about is the liberals, the liberals, the liberals, blah, 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 blah. That kind of thing. We had not too long ago President George Bush Sr. saying himself that with the current Republican Party, he wouldn't have been able to win on the campaign that he ran on. Yeah, now with his history, even though with him being a one-term president, chances are with nobody would vote for him knowing that. But on the platform he ran on at the time, he did win, and he won not only through the majority vote or through the popular vote, but he also won through the electoral college. So on that platform, if he had ran in today's Republican Party, he wouldn't have even made it past the primaries. He would have had to be a Democratic candidate. That's where he would have had to run. Now I know it sounds like I'm just doing nothing but bashing the Republican Party. And I kind of am, but there still are some good points within the Republican Party. Not necessarily anything that they actually stand for, but they're still in there. So the remaining good points of well, the remaining good point of the Republican Party platform is being fiscally conservative. Unfortunately, despite claiming to be, they tend to spend more money than Democrats and not really on the best things. A small, streamlined, and effective government, again, wonderful policy, but they've never done this. Anytime the Republicans are in charge, they expand the government. So, yeah, no, they don't even stick to their own platform. Now, Democrats aren't immune to this scrutiny either. While not as right wing as the Republican Party, they have continued to move further to the right as corporate interest and support has grown. This is where we get the term corporatist. That's what many politicians on both sides are. Um, the Democratic Party, also in answering to corporate interests, does not oppose Republican proposal. when they are backed by companies, even if those proposals will hurt the people. The Monsanto legislation for GMOs, mainly the part about untested GMOs, though, nah, you still got to be on the fence about a lot of the GMOs, mostly because they're done in the lab instead of actually seeing what will survive out in the actual field. Um, but that's just one example of this, though it doesn't have to be a Republican proposal, just one that's backed by companies. When I say companies, I don't mean the small businesses that you always hear from either party trying trying to support the small businessman and all this other stuff. Now, what I mean is multinational corporations, big banks, Wall Street, things of that nature. Not really something the everyday man is going to be a huge part of or have much say in at all. Now, regarding the two-party system that we have set up now, there's too many things wrong with it. That has the major. These two parties, they're really not fighting each other like they used to. They have the majority of the political power in the country, and making a third party an option is really not viable the way things are set up here. And so, because of that, we always go with the least harmful candidate, which, yeah, you're picking the lesser of the two evils, but honestly, you're still picking an evil, and that's the problem. That isn't how a country should elect its leaders. One of the biggest problems we have today is money in politics. Remove that, you remove much of the problem. Yes, the two parties would still retain a lot of power, but smaller parties would potentially be able to muster up more support and grow. So now on to me. Well, I am not a member of any party because none of the parties available represent anything. No, not anything, but represent everything I do. That makes me nonpartisan. So I don't have a party. I don't have a political party, which unfortunately means I also don't get to take part in the primaries. Politically, what I identify myself is as a progressive. I say this because I want this country to continue to progress in all aspects. In the past, civil rights were restricted to certain groups, namely white men. People changed that, so the country progressed to a more open society. Does everyone have the same civil rights yet? No, but we're still progressing toward that. With each issue that is addressed, we make progress. People in power seem to forget that the message this country was built on was life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Those three things should not be limited to a specific group of people, or exclude a specific group of people, especially at the expense of others. After all, the Constitution grants us certain rights and freedoms, but all of those end when they threaten another person's rights and freedoms. One thing people often equate to being progressive is being liberal. Well, this is true that many ideas are liberal. That doesn't mean that all ideas are. as many of you know, I lean heavily toward the left when it comes to civil liberties and human rights. But I'm also fiscally conservative. I don't like the vast amounts of money our government spends on subsidies for multinational corporations. When we hear a threat that they will take their business to another country, while paying more in taxes and getting less from those very same countries. That's right, we have one of the lowest corporate taxes on the entire planet. But they still drill in other countries, especially like oil companies. They still drill in other countries, like Saudi Arabia. They have a 20% corporate tax rate. Yeah, that. You think that the oil companies aren't going to drill there just because of that? No, they're still there. Anyway, for the most part, for most progressives, it is taking a step back, separating out each issue of the government that the government is facing, and finding the most effective outcome that benefits the people in this country. That that specific issue is directly affecting. So now in closing, this is the right path for me. I do what I can by signing petitions, voting, contacting my representatives at the state and federal levels. And this is by no means an attempt to recruit anyone. I know there are those people out there that think this. I don't know why, I don't get it, but it is what it is. But after watching this, maybe, just maybe, you'll take a closer look at what the Republicans and Democrats are really up to. Thank you. This has been darkdracha. As always, feel free to comment. I always love to hear feedback from you guys. Please critique this creatively. If there's something that you think that I could have done better, please let me know. That way I can correct any statements that I may have fledged a bit. Or just give me a new perspective. I always like hearing back from you guys. So don't forget to like, favorite, subscribe, and share this with anyone you think might enjoy it. Thank you for watching. Bye.